right, what's going on? I'm the JakeOfALL, and this is our 2020 Lincoln Navigator, Black Label L. It's a mouthful, I know. I've had this car for a little bit. You guys might have known I got rid of the Raptor and I went on to this. And the funny thing is I didn't want a newer gen Raptor with the EcoBoost, and I ended up getting a Navigator with an EcoBoost. I love the car. There's a lot about it I really do love, and there's a lot that I don't. It was used to me, used to anybody, and there's some stuff wrong with it. There's some stuff that arguably is me just being nitpicky, and there's some stuff that you guys will see that definitely needs some TLC. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a series. You're gonna follow along. We're gonna do some upgrades to it. We're gonna do some additions to it, and we're gonna do some repairs to it. So let's dive in, and you guys can follow along. Okay, so let's start with the outside of the car. So it's a black, it's an L, it's a black label. So that's sort of like a trim package, and being an L, it's the long wheelbase. Now, as I jokingly said, this is the EcoBoost. It's the 3.5 liter, 450 horsepower, and what did you say, like 690 foot-pounds? That's a lot of torque. 691, okay. Whereas the old Raptor with the 6.2 liter was 411. And Jen can contest, we've definitely been at a light before, and we've definitely made a Mustang have a good time. Granted, Mustangs, they like to go for the crowds. So exterior, what I love about it, I like black cars. You'll see that the windows are tinted. I will try to insert a clip of what it looked like before because it just couldn't timeline-wise get this series going. And I wanted to get the tinting done as quick as possible. It was a quality of life. Okay, so we have black almost everywhere, and like most cars that are black, they also have way too much chrome. So we have a chrome grille, and we have a chrome grille surround. Interestingly enough, if you listen to this, sort of like the Bentley lady commercials, I think this might be metal, I don't know. But around here glows, but I can't stand this chrome. I don't mind this chrome, I don't mind that chrome. If I could change it, I'd black it all out and just have the illumination. So I'm either gonna wrap it or I'm gonna plastic dip it. Headlights I like, but you can see right below our headlights, we have these running lights. There's chrome in those. We have these vents, chrome. All of the headlights and all of these little fog related lights have that chrome backing. So if we want to go through the risk and crack these open, we might de-chrome those. I don't know. If I didn't cover this, I do want you guys to know. Part of the point of this video, right, is to show the tools and techniques and learn. And also, I'm going to go back and forth with you guys. So if you have a suggestion, I'd love for you to add it below in the comments. Also, now is a great time to make sure that you're subscribed. Also, we're looking for a name for the car. So I'd love, every time I'm going to ask you guys, what would you name it? And by the end, maybe you guys can help me pick it. So wheels, tires, these are 22s. I forget what they call this, but I think they call it the rotor. I don't hate it. It is a pain in the butt to clean, but it's got a nice good sidewall, great for not worrying about curbing. As far as things on this side that aren't great, this constantly happens, so I got to find a fix for that. And then the Navigator, you can see they went ahead and put black inside of this, and then they outlined this in chrome. This illuminates where the Navigator is. I don't know if it's going to look right to black that out, but in my mind it should be, but this would be acceptable. This is very unacceptable. This is massively unacceptable. Any other flaws over here? If you look at all of the door handles, they are all really, really rough. The chrome is in interesting shape, and back in there is in, you know, not so great shape. So let's back out a little bit more. You can see some more stuff. That chrome line goes all the way along there. There's some scratches on the side. Roof rack. So much chrome. And I actually had a quote from a guy. I am going to try to do a lot of this chrome delete myself. And again, places where you guys can come into the comments and say, honestly, something like the mirror is better to plasti dip it. The grill is better to plasti dip. But I've got some chrome delete black 3M tape and some tools, and we're going to try this. If you didn't notice that, if I didn't cover it, it runs the whole length of the car, and it's hideous. We have black windows, black side trim, and we have rednecks. It's Florida. If you didn't know, we lived in Florida. We have lots of rednecks. So more chrome here. Rims, again, I don't know what I want to do about the rims. I could have them powder coated. We've thought of a bunch of different ideas. We just haven't figured it out. So if you guys know some rims that would look great on this, that body line trim comes back and around to here. Hate it. Can't stand it. We get to the back. We have that same chrome wrapping around here. And then that is mainly it, except for the tail light. Now inside, this does illuminate. It illuminates there, and then this red illuminates all the way around. I don't really mind the Lincoln. I have seen these blacked out, and they do look very good. But this being blacked out and then giving this a slight tint, I think will also make neon green. Jen has talked about doing neon green. I think that don't even know what that is. Definitely didn't. That's cute. Okay. Apparently I can wave my hand down there and it opens it. So we're gonna go around onto this side. It's very similar to the other side, but we've got some chips over here. Some weird C-shaped scratch. And then I think there is a dent or two on the running boards. Now those running boards are extruded aluminum, so that's going to be a lot harder to do anything with. But generally on the outside of the exterior, I can't stand these three pieces of chrome. Mirrors, obviously. Rims, I'm sort of, on the fence about. And the front grille. Also, ride height. I would like this a little bit lower. I know people are gonna, I'm not trying to get like super,
can't drive it like I stole it.
Super Vato mode. Yes, correct. We cannot go over curbs if it's too tall, but just a few inches, right? That's what she said. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna take a small break. We're gonna come right back and let's look at the inside. All right, we're at the back. There's a PACKOUT. I know. Wasn't setting it up, honestly. I had a bunch of stuff in the car and I have to keep taking stuff in and out. But I do want to do a cargo solution. A previous individual I knew was very much against the idea of me putting some molly panels in here for maybe some pew-pews or some PACKOUTs. I thought it would look pretty cool to mount them in there. I don't know. Seems like I have a little bit more options in my future. Interior problems. Look at this. What in the actual hell would cause that? I would love to know. If you guys know what the heck could have done that. Now, I had played around with a practice where you take this, hold this so that it doesn't scratch the paint, you power wash it. Did it one-handed, got a bunch of people pissed off on TikTok and Instagram. That was hilarious. There's some general scratches on the trim panels, but generally I just want to do some kind of cargo solution for the back here. It does have 3 rows of seats, and between the two of us, Jen and I, we have a lot of kids. Seat belts, they're going to make them worse, but as you can see, they were just nasty. let's walk around to this side.
Are we not going to talk about the generator stuff?
No, we're not going to talk about the generator stuff. You said it wasn't a big deal. There's some
a big deal, but you know,
scratches on the plastic. Coming to this, so it is, the black label has a bunch of fancy trim options. And in this one, it's this burgundy, if you want to call it that, with this crazy stitching, vented heated seats for even the second row. And if you look back here, they're generally in good condition. Now the seat belts are gross as well. These seats all can do that. You can lift it to get to the back area. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I should move out of the way. And if you look at the door cards, they're generally in good shape, especially back here. They just need to be cleaned. I am going to get a steamer, and we're going to use that on the plastics and really try to get the grime out of the switch panels. Because some of this is from my kids when they were just sort of left, I don't know, unsupervised, and some of it was from the previous owners. Now we're going to move up to the front. So we've got socks in the door panel. No, I'm kidding. This is where we're going to start getting into some of the stuff. Here's a great example. We have this, which this wing alone, when I looked up, was like $800. If we go to the seats, when we're talking about leather, we have this. Now, when I got this, this had not started to tear through, but the seats looked like they were dirty and then covered up. And if you look, we've got cracking here. We've got some dirt there. This side looks okay, this generally. But what I noticed when I went to clean it, if you look how this is black stitching, and you get in certain areas like right here, some of the black stitching starts disappearing, and you're going to notice it over on the driver's side armrest. They actually dyed these, and it looked like they, instead of using a dye, they used a paint, and they covered up. And a lot of the places the stitching is the wrong color because they covered it up and it hid the black stitching. So I am going to look for a replacement bottom from this. It's been pretty, I haven't been that successful at all. Actually, I've not been successful. Either the Ford parts sites, I haven't found it, or they're, you know, $1,200. Not sure why the camera person's walking that way. We got to come back here.
bugs.
So if you look at our dash, you can see that we have another problem. We have some weird waves and some bumps in the dash, some bubbles. And weirdly enough, when we got it, like I said, the car was used, but we had barely had the car before somebody got in a car accident. And then the car sat at a shop for almost 6+ months. So I don't actually even know what that looked like. Different lights, different temperature, the dash looks different. So there's a really good chance that that dash could have been that way, and I just didn't notice it. I certainly, the day I test drove it, didn't notice it, and I looked. Okay, we're gonna hop around to the engine since that's on the way. I wanna do an intake. Couple different companies make whole new boxes, new charge pipes, a bunch of different options. I've seen carbon fiber. You can also add an upgraded intercooler to this, blow-off valves, because this is the EcoBoost, and because this is the Raptor engine, basically, or, you know, an F-150 EcoBoost, whatever. This engine can take most of those mods. I've absolutely seen Expeditions getting the intercoolers from a Raptor. You might have to modify the plastics on the inside of this grill to get them to fit, but they will work. I don't know about tuning, but you know, we'll sort of get to that. We're gonna come around here because I'm gonna show you the worst door and the worst armrest. So if you look at the door here, this happened long after not having the car, which is I just rolled the window down and the whole control panel broke and caved in. Now these aren't broken, but this panel is. So we're gonna have to tear this thing off, replace that, you know, whatever. But while we're at it, we probably are gonna try to take care of this too, which if you see, you can see black stitching, leather. This one probably is gonna need a dye. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and have her sort of lean in forward and look at this, and you can see where this stitching is much lighter, and that's where it's been painted over. and this was all painted over. Driver's seat, just where my hand is really the majority of the wear. And yeah, it's not bad. I do not like all of this chrome. And also, let me sit in here and then I'm gonna have you lean forward. You could take a look at this. We have a cut here. And then where the seatbelts go, we have dirty seatbelts, and look at this. We have some weird, and I'm just assuming whoever was in here and got the seatbelts dirty, also that dirt just constantly rubbed off on that. But that's it. That's the Navigator. It's a long car. I have some tools. You guys know that I have a pretty big shop full of packouts, and sort of like the one in the trunk, that's got our leak detector. Anytime I do a project, I want to sort of do it what I consider right. And I might not be right, which is why I'm asking you guys for help. So anything that you saw me complain about, obviously that's my opinion on a lot of things, but if you have advice on what I can use, I've got a couple things already ordered and some things in the mix, so we're going to be hopping to a video pretty darn quick. But I'd love to hear your guys' comments on both a name and any suggestions for some of these repairs. Speaking of that and things that are going to come soon, if you guys have seen any of those funny viral videos of brake checking and insurance fraud in New York, dash cam, that's going to be the first thing I'm going to do. And in fact, if you I don't know, click one of these spots here, you can watch the video where we already did the dash cam in the Navigator. So I'm the JakeOfALL. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'd love a comment of any suggestions or just some encouragement. You guys have a good one, and I got to get out of here because the bugs are eating me alive.
A long time ago, a great president wanted a car that was worthy of his butt cheeks. He wanted a car that was better than his house, that had a room that he did not. He coined it the Lincoln Continental, aka the living room. We like to call her Olivia, Liv for short. Is it luxury? I don't know. These 17-way adjustable seats with torn leather, soiled seat belts, and dirty headliner. If that doesn't scream luxury, I don't know what does. Are you looking for a comfortable ride along with a dead battery, a door panel missing some switches, or maybe, just maybe, every time you get to a light in a hot Florida summer sun, you want the engine to turn off to, you know, worry about the environment. Come with me on the journey to fix this Continental.